your character is in a mixed race marriage. He is. I don't know if you knew that. But I'm just curious, given what's happened recently, the historic ruling on marriage equality, how do you think your character would react?
In California, in terms of what happened federal.
Yeah, federal.
I think Diggle would be very happy about that. Diggle's a military man, but he's probably the military guy who was probably on the progressive end. He's a vigilante, for Christ's sakes, and it's interesting because you could probably argue that Diggle has some mixed views. He probably has some very, very right-wing views and some very progressive views as I'm thinking about it, because he just mowed right through the League of Assassins with gunfire, so he probably believes in capital punishment, which is more the right. But he's probably very progressive in terms of mixed relationships and transgender rights and things like that, and that's very progressive. So I would probably say he was very happy with what happened federally just recently.
How would you say the events of season 2 sort of transformed Diggle? I mean, what was his evolution in season 2 leading into season 3?
Well, season 2 leading
3. I'm sorry. 3 into 4.
3 into 4.
Sorry.
I think season 3 ended. Thank you. Season 3 ended where I think the team kind of fell back in line, allowing Oliver to go off into the sunset with Felicity. And I think Diggle was the only one that really kind of didn't let Oliver off the hook, and really held his feet to the fire, so to speak. Diggle sees Oliver's actions as a liability. Diggle is a military guy, and if one man hurts the unit, the whole unit suffers. And that's Diggle's point of view. Putting Ra's al Ghul at the League of the Head of Assassins, I think Diggle thinks is a mistake. I think trusting Malcolm Merlyn before he trusted his team is a mistake. I think kidnapping Lila, leaving his child at home, I think Diggle sees as a mistake. These things hurt the team, I think Diggle sees. Not just a personal thing, but they're not intelligent strategically. And I think that's what Diggle has a problem with. And those sentiments get echoed in the first episode of season 4. Is that Diggle's past being angry. It's not just about, he kidnapped my wife and left my child at home. He was pissed, but he says even in that episode that, he just understands that this man does things a certain way, and that's fine. He just can't work with it. And I think it's that matter of fact for Diggle. And it's going to take some time to mend it. It's not going to be catastrophic. It's not going to be a catastrophic event that brings these men back together. It's going to be really a meeting of the hearts and a commitment to each other and to the team and to the city that really brings them back together. They will get back together. The bromance will continue.
Oh, good.
But it's just going to take, and by the time they do mend fences, it's going to be a much stronger, much more respecting. They're going to respect each other a lot more, which I think was the missing element to their relationship before.
With that divide going on, then what kind of stills or what relationship or friendship does Diggle have to kind of lean on other than his wife?
Well, he doesn't, and I think he'll take notice of that as well. Both of them are missing something. Both these men love each other. Yes, they do.
I was about to say that looks like that hurt. That looks like that hurt you really bad.
Yes, they do. They do. They love each other, and so they miss each other, and they miss the camaraderie. They miss depending and leaning on each other, as you said. And they're going to come back around very soon within the season. Very soon. This isn't going to drag out very long because I think the fans want them together. I think people want them together, and I think it's good for the team. So it won't take too long, but they have to respect the divide, and so they have to take their time mending fences.
Personally, I like Diggle the way he is, but there's lots of rumors and fan theories about whether he will become some sort of superpowered individual or become another DC Comics character. Can you talk anything about any plans, or is there anything in the rest of the season that might change Diggle up a little bit?
Yes, and yes. I can talk about it a little bit, and yes, he will be changing. There will be some changes to Diggle coming very, very soon. It's no secret that Diggle has needed some concealment since the latter part of season 1. And then after he got married, clearly, and had a child, if there's anybody who needs to protect his identity in the field, it's Diggle. So that's been no secret. And even at the end of season 3, there was a little teaser that Oliver put out there that, yo, if you're going to continue working in the field, you need to have some concealment. So the top of season 4, you're going to see a very well-oiled Team Arrow without Arrow. Right? Diggle's the de facto leader of that with Black Canary and Speedy. And they're protecting Starling City. And they're all concealed. So you will see something for Diggle.
Will these changes have anything to do with Coast City and flashbacks?
With Coast City?
Yeah.
What have the
changes to Diggle?
Oh, I see. That's a good question. No, they won't. Though it's awesome because they can play with a lot of stuff over there in Flash and time travel and all this stuff. So I'm interested in, and I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but I'm interested in the crossovers this year, whether or not the crossovers will deal with some type of time paradoxes and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. But no, the immediate costume changes and what you see in the beginning of 401 will not have anything to do with Coast City.
Diggle and Felicity have always been close on their own.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that Oliver and Felicity's relationship is going to affect Diggle and Felicity's relationship?
Well, that's very interesting too because you're going to find something out at the beginning of 401 in terms of what the Felicity there's a bit of a slant in terms of what's happening in that relationship as well, and that I'm not privy to say in terms of the Oliver Felicity relationship. So there's something there. But I think Team Arrow without Arrow at the beginning of 401 has, for all intents and purposes, allowed these two individuals to run off into the sunset, and they are operating. As far as they're concerned, Oliver Queen lives in the suburbs, and there is no more Arrow. That clearly changes very, very quick because Hive comes, Damien Dark, and we have some very, very formidable enemies this season.
Was that fun though to play just like when
Yeah, you know something? We start shooting on Monday, and those scenes are Thursday and Friday, and I can't wait to shoot those scenes. And I mean, they're cool. I mean, when you read them, it's just like wow, they really are a well-oiled machine. And so it's kind of nice to see that. And it's going to be nice to see why Oliver has to come back because they are very good at what they're doing. So it's very well written. So I can't give away exactly why he comes back. Sure.
With so many shows in the same shared universe, you guys are getting to do something brand new. As an actor, how fun is it to get to play in these multiple sandboxes that overlap?
Multiple sandboxes is a good way of putting it. It's so much fun. I'm knocking on wood, right? Who will die this season? Hopefully. So, it's great, man. I mean, Legends, Flash, Supergirl. I mean, all with Greg Berlanti, right? So it's, it'd be great if the crossovers could involve like Supergirl, right? I mean, it's just fantastic. It's a comic book renaissance. So I'm just pinching myself, man. I mean, I grew up on Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby, which was awesome in its own right? But this is unprecedented on television. And dare I say, Arrow really opened the door up for Gotham and Constantine and Flash and Legends and Supergirl. And, because Arrow was in the Smallville's shadow, and no one really expected this to happen. So it's great.
With the whole thing about transforming, how did you react to all those rumors that were growing with great strength that you were becoming Green Lantern on the show?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. When you read the Green Lantern lore, the John Stewart story, it's just like, as an actor, you're like, oh, it's like playing Luke Cage. You know what I mean? It's like it's an awesome character. But to the writer's credit, and they took time to explain this to the press, and they even explained it to me personally. They've taken great strides at making the John Diggle mythos part of the lexicon, right? That you hear John Diggle, you hear John Diggle, you hear John Diggle, and to make they even made him part of the comic book. So they've taken great strides in making him part of the landscape of Arrow and that whole universe. So they don't want to give up on that immediately, and they're going to take one big step very, very soon in cementing his forever dominance in the comic book land very soon, because Diggle's going to be changed forever.